This is Pep Talks,
I just remember thinking to myself, I love that Queen Latifah is a lesbian in this movie.
a weekly interactive show where I cover hot topics and issues of the day.
I might have heard it and I just wasn't listening, I guess. I didn't think it affected me.
This season, I'm watching legendary classic black movies with some of my favorite and closest celebrity friends. And then we're going to discuss them live with all of you. So get ready, throw on your favorite PJs, and let's dish on these movies. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the very first episode of Pep Talks. I am your hostess, Peppermint. My pronouns are she, her, hers. And this is an interactive weekly show that covers hot topics and issues of the day. We give commentary and review on notable Black cinema throughout history. And the reason why I wanted to start this show is because I have so many friends that I've talked to, many of them are non-Black, who hadn't seen some of the best movies that I remember from my childhood and throughout time. And I have a lot of time. And so that's why we decided to come up and do Pep Talks for you. So each week I invite you to throw on your PJs. I'm wearing a robe tonight. And mud mask and get comfy with me and my celebrity friends. And we will dish our take on the movies, drama, and our favorite trends and products. Which we have some special ones here tonight. And this is a celebration of all the things I love: makeup, Black culture, and connecting with each of you. So today's movie and guests are Poetic Justice and the fabulous Alaska Thunderfuck and Bob the Drag Queen.
Hey, girl, hey.
Hey. So, Alaska, hello, my darling. How are you? And tell us your pronouns, please.
At the moment, they are she and her.
That's fair.
Drag is fine, but like please just call me she and hers when I'm in drag. You know.
And you have, I just want to get this right off the bat because I was scrolling on your Insta today, and you have a Halloween 2020 drive-in performance show in my city, New York, which I'm so excited about. What day is that on? Tell us about it a little bit.
It's on actually. I'm so excited about it. It's going to be a drive-in. It's like we're doing it with the team that brought you Justice for Art Pop and A Star Is Born This Way. And so we were trying to think of like the scariest theme, and we were like, wait, 2020. That's it. That's the scariest possible theme.
Truth, the absolute truth. Well, I'll be tuning in. I mean, I can't come. Wait, I'll be out of town, but will it be possible for anyone to watch it who's not there? Maybe not. Okay, I don't mean to put you on the spot.
I literally have no idea. The green light on it like yesterday, and I'm just like so excited I get to do cars.
Well, I'm so glad to. Well, congratulations and welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being our first guest. And by the way, you and I were supposed to be doing this last week, but because of the presidential debates, which were a big deal, we decided to postpone until tonight. Now, we had no idea that the president would upstage himself just a couple of days later by announcing that he tested positive for COVID. But nevertheless, thank you for rescheduling with me. I appreciate it. I know you have, you're going to do Trinity show tonight, and so we're going to keep it snappy for you tonight.
Of
Next
course.
up,
And I'm so glad we rescheduled because that debate was so good. It was just so worth watching.
It was worth watching. That was like, we got to see some newsworthy moments live. And so, yeah, we'll have more to talk about, I'm sure, because 2020 ain't over. Um, our next guest is the fabulous from We're Here, from Tales of the City, and pretty much everything I've ever done as well. Bob the Drag Queen. Hello, my darling.
Hey, girl, how are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm so happy that you're here. I'm happy that y'all are here together. How you been, girl? You already told me that you're not in the best mood.
No, oh my God, Pep, don't you dare
Oh,
I'm
oh!
thinking I'm like some grumpy. I didn't know we were in pajamas. I'm over here wearing this tight ass dress. I would have worn some pajamas.
Well, we'll make that more clear for our next guest.
Word.
But you look absolutely fabulous, and I know I'm not even sure how many of you all watching have watched Poetic Justice or seen it, but it is a classic, iconic movie, and so your outfit today is a tribute to uh, to Poetic Justice. Tell us your pronouns,
Well,
Bob.
it's really he, him, his, she, her, hers. And if I'm in drag, I would say in drag, usually my friends all call me she, her, but it's not the end of the world. Like we did this thing yesterday, and everybody kept being like, now when he does the thing, I was like, I'm in a dress, but also it doesn't really offend me that much. I didn't have a hat with a brim because Janet Jackson wearing that big hideous hat.
That blue hat the whole movie.
It is so ugly. I hate that hat.
Well, if you are watching, obviously you're watching right now, and you'd like to see me.
If you're not watching, how are you hearing us?
If you'd like to see me, Bob, and Alaska getting ready for this show in the behind the scenes moments, then please head over to my Patreon, which is just go to Patreon and I'll put a link on I'm not sure what it is, but it's Peppermint 247, I'm quite sure. And you'll be able to see some behind the scenes extras and takeouts and all of that jazz. So like I said, tonight's movie is what is it? Poetic Justice. Sorry, I almost said the wrong movie.
What movie were you gonna say?
Oh, yes, this is really live. Oh, you can comment.
But what Pep didn't tell you all is that we actually have, because people always ask when you do a live thing if it's really live. So periodically you just say this is really live. But in actuality, we actually filmed this in 2007.
Yes, it is really live. Today is October 6th, 2020.
But how can you prove it? Can you hold up a newspaper?
No, I can't fit.
A newspaper.
Do they even exist anymore?
Popcorn too?
Well, it's a movie night.
Oh.
Well, bitch, make some popcorn.
I also love that stuff. Do you sprinkle that seasoning over your popcorn that you can get in the movie theaters?
No, I don't sprinkle the movie theater one, but I do have seasoning on my popcorn.
No, there's like this, like the stuff they make just for popcorn, and you can sprinkle this like white cheddar or caramel or whatever, and you like ranch, and you can like jazz up your popcorn. It's
I don't
so
want
good.
ranch on my popcorn. It's hot sauce.
Whenever I'm in the UK, because they don't really have ranch in the UK as a dipping sauce. So whenever I go to a store like McDonald's, I'm like, can I get some ranch? They don't. It's like they don't know the word, so they repeat it back to me with an American accent. Like, I'm sorry, what did you say? And I'm like, can I have some ranch? They're like, Nori, let me just check. Do we have any ranch in the box here? Do we have ranch?
Somebody says, ask Brown Bear Breach Club asks Bob, where's Bob? Is that a green screen?
No, this is my corner apartment in New York. I live on the top floor of an apartment in the financial district. So
yeah,
what green screen? I literally don't understand why anyone would ask if I was using a green screen that literally doesn't. Oh shit! Shit!
Oh, do that! Go back and do that other one. I like that other. No, not
that of Among Us.
Oh my god! So wait, let's keep going. Today's movie is Poetic Justice, one of my favorite movies in the world, and we're gonna watch the trailer right now in 3, Bob, fix your face.
Not famous in the
3,
world.
2, 1.
If you listen to me closely, I'll tell you what I know. Storm clouds are gathering. The wind is gonna blow. The race of man is suffering, and I can hear the moan. Cause nobody, but nobody, can make it out here alone.
Her name is Justice.
The only reason why I love you is because I was in the county jail. You sent me all them nice poems.
To escape the violence of the streets, she needed the poetry in her heart.
You've got to move on. There's another man out there somewhere.
His name is Lucky.
What y'all niggas doing?
Looking for some busters to jack.
To face the madness around him, all he had was the music in his soul. Fate brought them together.
This is Justice. Justice, this is Lucky. And you already know Chicago.
What's up, baby?
Baby.
Anger kept them apart.
I'm a black woman, okay? I deserve respect.
Walk your ass home.
But for both of them,
Girl, you know he tripping because he like you.
the road ahead was the only way to leave the pain behind.
I heard from a friend today, and she said you were in town. Suddenly the memories came back to me in my mind. How can I be strong? I lost myself. Time and time I've said that I'll never fall in love again.
Columbia Pictures presents a story about losing your fear and finding your way.
What do you write about?
Whatever's in my heart.
What's that?
Janet Jackson, Tupac Shakur, Poetic Justice. From the creator of Boys in the Hood.
All right, well, there you have it. That was the trailer for Poetic Justice. If you haven't seen Poetic Justice, I think you should see it. It's definitely, I believe, culturally relevant, but now we are going to get into it. And I already have some on good information that this is going to be a juicy conversation because some of the queens in this conversation may not agree. But it is a culturally relevant movie. So, ladies, I just want to know, before seeing it tonight, I know you remember Poetic Justice. You're old, no offense, anyone, but you're old enough to remember
Drag her.
Poetic Justice the first time around. And so, at least like the happening of Poetic Justice. Did it ever mean anything to you before this? Tell me the truth. Okay, go Alaska.
I never knew that this movie existed. So I thank you very much for inviting me to do this because I got to watch this and I love this film. I had no idea that Janet Jackson was an amazing actor. And I had no idea that Tupac was such an amazing actor. I really enjoyed it. And it literally was not on my radar. I had no idea.
Had you never even heard of it?
You don't even know Janet Jackson's amazing acting until you see Janet Jackson get burned by an iron on Good Times. That is Janet Jackson's amazing. You know what I'm talking about, Pep? When Janet Jackson
with as Penny, yeah,
got burned with that iron on Good Times. You know,
yeah.
Day when sitcoms always end with the somber music or and then it zoom in on her face.
That was a historic moment because they really literally went in on like domestic abuse and child abuse Yeah, that was a big moment. Anyway, so yes, Janet's a great actor. And by the way, this has one of the reasons why I think this movie is fantastic. I just want to say really quickly, it has an all-star cast. It is Tupac
Yes.
Shakur, Janet Jackson, Regina King, Joe Torre, Maya Angelou, Q-Tip, um, Candy Alexander, Tyra Farrell, Michael Rappaport, Billy Zane, Lori Petty, Jennifer Lewis. Y'all know Jennifer Lewis. Tone Loc,
Mhm.
Keith Washington, a bunch of singers. Um, it's just like it's an all-star cast, and that's one of the reasons I like to watch old movies, and then years later you see the same movies and realize that's now the star of such and such or so and so.
Yeah.
Um, and so
I
that's
Totally.
such and such available on HBO Max. Um, I
so. What was your first? What was your first?
why did you ask me if I knew the movie? You didn't tell me.
No, I'm asking you right now, Bob. When I know you remember the movie the first time around, so tell me like what you thought of it 10 years ago, 20
Well, I mean,
years ago.
I was pretty young when this movie came out. What year did it come out again?
93.
Yeah, I was very young. I mean, I was pretty young, but I saw it later on, like in like 99 or something, when I was in middle school or high school. And I
For
remember
the
thinking to
first
myself,
time.
like, yeah, and I remember seeing it again, like after, because I was like walking through the living room, my cousins were watching it, and I remember being like, oh, it's Poetic Justice, some movie where Janet Jackson has braids and this big hideous hat that she won't stop wearing. Also, in the movie, they're like, you have new growth. That's not new growth. Whatever Janet Jackson had missing, we all know when a girl has new growth, and that was not new growth. Because the new growth, when your shit be this long between the braid in your head. Anyway, and then I was like, so I just remember, but I don't remember anything about it until I watched it again recently. And I remember the reason why I don't remember anything is because I don't like this movie. It's not a good
Mm.
movie. And I'm shocked that you say this is one of your favorite movies.
Okay,
Wait, quick question. What's the next movie you're doing? Because I should have. What's the next one?
Rafe. Well, we'll tell you in a second if you can find out, Rafe. But okay. Let me tell you one thing for everybody. This movie came out at a really sensitive time. It was literally the bookends to the LA riots. The first one that was made by John Singleton, rest in peace, was Boys in the Hood. And then that was before the LA riots. And then the LA riots happened. And then Poetic Justice came out a year later after the LA riots. And American Gangster is the next movie that we're going to watch with Shea Coulee next week.
Jealous.
What is wrong? Okay, so let's go through this. What is it about this movie that you do not like, Bob?
Okay, first of all, I will say this. So this is one of those things, one of those moments in time where movies were really about inconsequential things. Now, I will say this. In 2020, every movie is like, this, whatever happens in this movie has affected the world. It's like Endgame and like Queen and Slim, and they changed the way that black people were treated forever. And like movies nowadays are like, it has to be, it's nothing inconsequential happens in movies. Back in the 90s, like, bitch, the stuff happened in the movie was just in that neighborhood. No one ever knew about it again, and then it kind of just didn't matter no more. I think that while I do think this movie is very indicative of the time, I don't like, first of all, I don't like the way that like Tupac's character in the beginning, the way he like gets the honeys is so mean and disrespectful. He's calling this girl every kind of bitch, this, that, and the other. And not to mention Janet Jackson's character, who was like, I don't know why you be fucking with them mailmen. They don't make no money. I'm like, your boyfriend who just got shot, just got out of jail and was selling petty drugs. And you talking about this mailman who has a 401k and then also, Tupac fully kidnapped his daughter at the top of the movie, just fully kidnapped the child, took the child out of the home where she was raised in. They beat up her boyfriend, which, granted, maybe having sex with your child in the other room is maybe a little tacky.
Bob, she was smoking crack.
Yeah.
Oh, and we had no one on this call is a little crack. Just like Joe Biden said, had a problem with crack and is now taking care of it. I'm very proud of her. But then they
Okay.
die, kidnap the child, and then Also, Regina King, like drinking problems, and I really enjoyed the cookout scene where Maya Angelou made a random appearance.
Okay. Let's break this down. First of all, there really weren't. You said a lot. 2020 was a different place. And black movies. Okay, lovely. Yes, Mrs. That's got to be Alaska. Oh, that's yes, Miss Alaska. 2020 black movies.
Twice.
It's Alaska. One of Alaska's split personality. One of them likes the movie. One of them doesn't.
Yeah.
Alaska and Montana.
Listen, Bob. Black movies are able to be made now, and I think more people are paying attention to black movies by black directors and a black cast in a way that they weren't. Pre Tyler Perry, pre Black Panther. And so black movies back in the day did not have all of the resources to get with all of the best writers. And I'm not saying that they didn't have good writers or didn't have good resources, but it was just a different thing. And so it wasn't just the 90s. They were making movies like, I mean, I don't know. I've never lived in LA, but I can imagine that what was the feeling behind the LA riots. It wasn't just the LA riots. It was the Rodney King verdict and the police brutality and all of that stuff that inspired you and me to do Black Queer Town Hall is what inspired someone like John Singleton to make this movie. And so I respect it just for that. They were really trying to tell a story that people weren't trying to hear. They were just saying, oh, those black people, they're just wild and rioting and burning down stuff. But they weren't really engaged in the why, that's happening. Not the way that they are today. And so they were really trying to tell their own story. It comes off as cheesy and corny now. And they packed a whole lot in. But those are some realistic things. I know that misogyny is a thing, and it lives in South Central LA like it does everywhere else men are. And so a man calling a woman a bitch instead of hello, Miss Madam Darling is very realistic, I think. For somebody like Tupac.
I do think it's real, and I appreciate the sentiment. Just because I appreciate the sentiment doesn't mean I appreciate the outcome. And I just don't remember, like, as I was watching this movie, I kept thinking to myself, like, I'm just not liking these people. I'm not liking, like, I like Boys in the Hood. I love Boys in the Hood. I love Friday. But this particular movie, I just don't remember thinking to myself, this movie better work. And I don't think that it was necessarily, to be honest, I can't say whether or not it was for a lack of good writers or good this or good that, because I'm almost positive that Tupac Shakur wasn't cheap. I have a sneaking suspicion that Tupac didn't do this for a couple of bucks. He was a chart-topping artist, same as Janet Jackson. They didn't get a couple of random, NYU.
Which means that most of their resources probably went to those two stars.
Probably. That's probably true. But it's just one of those moments where I just kept thinking to myself, like, I just kept thinking, I don't think I love this movie. And I remember thinking to myself, like, of course I love it, because, like, I grew up thinking I love this film. Then I went back and watched it again, and I was like, nah, son.
Okay. Well, listen, I don't want you all out there to be that swayed by Bob, especially considering that if you haven't seen the movie yet, you probably could use some of this type of cinema in your life, especially where we are in 2020. And understanding classic Black cinema means seeing this movie, whether you like it or not. This movie is a part of some of the bricks that make up the catalog of Black movies that people respect. Even though Bob has a gripe and some really valid points potentially, what this movie did for me is it gave Janet Jackson, according to her own interviews, the permission to be very sexual and very free. And that gave us the Janet album. And anything that gives us the Janet album and tour, I am all on board with. And it also it made box braids. It brought that wig that you're wearing. Somebody said Janet Jackson made this fierce. She didn't invent braids.
To this day, if you see a Black girl wearing box braids, you call her Poetic Justice.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's an impact, right? You know?
I mean, what did you think of last as a first time white woman watching this movie? What were your thoughts on it?
I loved it. I loved that it was a road trip movie, and you really hit it on the head when you said like nowadays like movies kind of have to be about like a large scale thing. This was a very small story about a very short road trip, but like
Mm-hmm.
I love road trip movies because anytime I go on a road trip, the first like little bit of it is just looking out the window and like crying. Like I always am crying. So like I am Janet Jackson. Also, I am Jessie, the owner of the salon,
Mm-hmm.
who she's such a minor character in the story, but she gets this entrance where it's just like
She gets
zooming
that
in on her
entrance to life.
leg. She's at the cigarette machine with a mirror on it, which I wish those still existed. She looks right at the camera and smokes. I loved it. I thought it was so cool and so good.
I do love the part where she goes, "You want to smell my punani?" and then she comes over and breathes in it. That's a great moment.
That's one of the best lines ever. And they gave us some classic lines. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Let me see what some of these chats are saying. We got some chats. We got some. I can't see it. Okay. Prime Game says, remember that one time Janet Jackson got caught stealing her good times? Salioner says, Wise Bob's background was background a Sephora paper bag. It's Janet. That's Janet. And Ralph CV says, Peppermint is right. Even if you don't like it, it's a must watch at least once. And it really is a snapshot of a certain time in LA. Okay.
I'm not asking anyone to not watch the film. I believe you should watch it.
Well, you surely weren't selling it very well, Bob.
But I can't in good faith say that I enjoyed it and that it was a great film. I just can't.
Okay, I'm not asking you to.
No, you asked me. I heard you specifically, literally ask. By the way, this is Janet Jackson's most iconic film moment. This for me is everything.
My God. Hold on, let me go back to the damn script because you're taking me off the script. Oh, okay. One last point that I don't know if I'm happy about this or how I feel about this, but this movie is definitely reflective of at least summer of 2020, right? With police talking about police violence and brutality in the Black community. And so it's just so strange to me that we have all of these movies that can really reflect where we've been. And it feels like we haven't come that far when you look back. This movie's almost 20 years. Is it 20 years old? Almost 20 years old. And we're still dealing with this. We're still marching in the streets for all this stuff. And that's one of the reasons.
This movie is over 20 years old. 20 years ago was
23?
2000.
Oh.
Yeah, girl, 20 years ago was year 2000. What do you mean almost 20 years ago?
7 years old!
Girl, this movie can rent a car.
Yeah, fully.
Yeah. This movie's 27 years old. But it's still relevant, I guess I think it's still relevant. The style is different. The style of filmmaking has changed. You're right. But the themes, police violence and brutality and all the stuff that people are talking about today and rioting and protesting, they're still relevant, you know?
Well, I was also blown away by how, not to change the subject to something much less serious, but like how drop dead gorgeous everyone who works at the post office is. These are some sexy ass mailmen. These are some sexy ass mailmen. I was like, all right now, I can't even. If these mailmen would deliver my mail, bitch, I would be voting by mail 10 times a year. I'm voting by mail in every election. I'm never going down to the ballots again.
Let me tell you, that the guy who played the I can't remember his name, the Mexican American guy.
Yeah.
Rene Elizondo was Janet's husband at the time. And he also directed
Work.
all of the music video. He directed many of her music videos during the Rhythm Nation and Janet era for Janet.
Wow.
And so the one that was like, you got your yams and all that stuff, that, remember him?
Yeah.
Um, when they're throwing darts. And my very first Snatch Game character was going to be Justice from Poetic Justice.
Wow.
I just threw out the blue hat bob with the braids. Now my braids were attached to the hat.
Word. 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 Yeah, someone just commented this movie the same age as me. You better go the fuck off, girl.
You are killing us.
You better- yeah, this. I mean, okay, maybe I'm being harsh in the movie, but also it is one of those weird moments in life where you're like, dude, when you don't like a classic, everyone thinks there's something wrong with you. Like, for example, you know, I don't like West Side Story. Like, I've given that play and that movie a lot of different iterations and thoughts, and after a while, I realized I just don't think I like West Side. I remember seeing it in high school and thinking maybe that was a bad production. Then I saw another theater company do it, and I was like, maybe that was a bad production. And then I saw the film, and I was like, all right, I think it's the work. I don't like West Side Story, but everyone's like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, I don't know. It's just maybe it's just not for me, you know?
Okay. West Side Story?
I just don't like it.
And that is a perfect time to segue into our next section of the show, where we talk about some of our favorite skincare or makeup products. And I am really excited to show you this box that's been sitting in my living room for about 2 months now, from Trixie Cosmetics. Bob, I know you did a video where you did your whole face in Trixie Cosmetics. Is that true?
I did Trixie, Kim, and Willem. So I did my face using their makeup.
Okay. Well, I'm going to try Trixie's new as of last couple months, new last year, a lipstick. And she wrote me a nice personalized letter. We've sent you the newest release, Model and Baby Doll. This is Model lipstick. And it's a positively pearlescent butter glazed lipstick. Think competitive ice skating meets the girl who dropped out but still went to prom. I thought it said porn, but it said prom.
This
Baby Doll.
Like intro to hi, I'm the competitive girl who dropped out of high school and blah blah.
Fully.
Okay,
Fully
here we
that.
go. I'm gonna try it on right now. Okay, should I just show you okay, here it is. Here's the color. Yeah.
Ooh.
Someone just wrote, what does Bob like?
That's how it looks on a swatch of my skin.
Sorry, that really got me together.
Pearlescent, buttery.
Oh,
It's so buttery. Oh my god.
it's so buttery. I look blue on me. I like
it's very that like kind of like 60s kind of that, you know?
Oh, you're so sweet with everything. Alaska, I gotta say, you are one of the nicest people. You're just such a sweet, sweet queen.
I'd have to lip liner with this.
I like it.
It does look cute though.
Do you want me to send it?
You're like, do you want it?
I like it too. No, I have a hard time with light pink, with bluey pink lip colors because I'm mostly like warm tones. But let's see what happens when we put the glitter on the lipstick.
What lipstick are you wearing, Alaska?
What?
What lipstick are you wearing right now?
I'm wearing Anastasia, Dusty Rose, and Corpse as well. It's like I don't remember the
lipstick.
It's a liquid lipstick. Yeah, it's two different ones.
Okay, I don't like the lipstick anymore. Something happened, and I don't think I like this color on you.
Who?
It's just the color on. I think it's this color on your skin. I don't think it's. Wait, do I like it? Do I put your lips up close to the camera?
I put glitter on it.
Now do make your mouth the shape of a donut.
Do you want to smell my punani?
Let me smell your punani.
Okay.
I keep between like liking it and not liking it. Like it just keeps happening, like back and forth.
That's because it's pearlescent. It's iridescent. There's two colors in it. So when I go like this, you like it, and when I go like this, you don't. Okay, so that was such a successful sell of Trixie Mattel Cosmetics. That's Model and Baby Doll, and you can pick them up at her store today.
Cool. Yeah. What are you drinking, Alaska?
This is grapefruit spindrift in a Chromatica mug.
What is spindrift? I don't even know what that is.
It's like what?
It's like bubbly or LaCroix.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I've seen those, but they taste a little more natural. They have like little.
They have more juice in them. They have got a little more.
Well, they have a little bit of actual juice in them, right, Alaska?
Yes. It's not the like flavoring. They actually use like fruit juices. It's natural. Hello. It's natural.
Let's see what.
Hello.
I would love to sneak Wigstock into Black movie classics. Would I get away with that?
It's okay to be gay on Avenue A. Hello.
Two hot pussies bumping in the night. Not enough.
What is taboo up to these days?
What they like. They're tight. If for them, it's natural. Hello.
Does anyone know what Taboo is doing these days?
I follow her Instagram.
I saw a video of Taboo dressed as a wolf doing some like thing as a wolf, but talking in that voice. Hello.
Myrtle Mugs.
Do you know Taboo in real life, Pep?
Yeah.
All right, I'm glad we have this chat.
Yeah. She doesn't talk like that all the time. She has her regular voice, but that's her like drag affectation.
Will you be gagged to realize that I met Gilbert Gottfried and he does not talk like that? Isn't that crazy?
I can't even imagine him not talking like that.
Isn't that?
My name is Gilbert. How are you doing? Hi.
Well, we got off stage and I was like, "Hi, Gilbert. Nice to meet you." And he looked at me and said, "Hello."
Hello. Earl MM says, "I love multiple mugs, Alaska." And Jinxon's Curve says, "I need Alaska to know that she looks literally perfect right now."
How wonderful! Oh, you do look beautiful, Shalaska.
Thank you so much. Well, I'm doing that pageant right after this, so I had to pull out the necklace set. I had to pull it out.
Yeah, I was gonna say if I was doing, I wore like jewels for the pageant, but this is like I forgot to tell you that this was like bedroom, so I wasn't gonna do jewels. But you look, you absolutely look amazing, Bob. What is going on?
Bob, center stage.
Bob, to the stage, please. Well, listen. As much as I know, Bob, you didn't like the movie. I'm so glad that we were able to watch this movie together because it is one of my favorite movies, and I think it's completely relevant. But we will continue to argue offline. I want to say thank you very much to our two guests, Bob and Alaska. Thank you so much for spending time with me, watching this movie with me, having this conversation with me, and kikiing with me. Remember, everyone, head over to my Patreon to see, if you're just joining us, head over to my Patreon to see everything that you just missed. And next week's show, our guest is going to be Shea Coulee, and we will be talking about the movie American Gangster. And so I will urge you to watch American Gangster before coming to see the show next week. But we're going to talk about everything that Shea is up to. I'm going to ask her the tea on the Savage Fenty runway show. And and she's getting ready to launch a brand new music video. So that is next week. And next week, it's going to be at a little bit of a different time. It will be Tuesday, but it'll be back at, I believe, 7 p.m. Eastern, which is just a little bit different than today. In the meantime, I want to urge you all to keep your eyes peeled for Bob. We have something we're about to launch. I don't even know if we know when it's going to launch.
It has to launch soon. But apparently it's super secret.
Super secret. Next Wednesday, next week, Bob and I are releasing a brand new music video. That's all I can say, but it's all about getting people to vote.
Also, Alaska, you literally just told them everything about it. Alaska, you and I should do the sequel to Yet Another Dig. Like, we should, like, hop back in, like, driving from the car, and then maybe we get out of the car, hop in a mail truck. I'm just kidding. No, I feel like...
And go across country, do a trip.
Meet Maya Angelou. No. But I feel like we should do, like, still another dig or something. I don't know. It seems like we need to do it.
Still another dig.
Alaska.
Another dig.
Yet another. Alaska has her Halloween 2020 show, which you can get tickets by going to vossevents.com or org.
Or it's the link in my bio on Instagram.
Or the link in Alaska's bio. If you are anywhere in the tri-state area, make sure you are there. Believe me, this is going to be a show you do not want to miss.
Wait,
what?
Someone just said we have to do yet another rig, and it's about fracking.
Yet another rig.
Can I make a cameo in that?
Can we do it all together, please? Oh my god! This is
god!
Pep, no, do this. Pep, do this.
Wait! I can't see you. I have to close the chat. I can't see you. Alaska, do this too.
This is a dream come true. This is all I've ever wanted.
Another rig. You heard it right here, y'all. We'll give you credit, whoever that was in the chat. So yeah, Alaska's link in bio for her show. We have to send Alaska off because she's going to go do Trinity's Love for the Arts finale, which starts in just a little bit. Make sure you go over to Trinity, stay on Twitch, and go over to Trinity's channel to watch her Love for the Arts with Alaska. And who else is on there with you, Alaska, tonight?
Aurora Sexton is also judging with me.
Aurora Sexton. So that's going to be fantastic. Anyway, I want to say thank you all so much for tuning into our very first show. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Alaska. Thank you, Mitch and Ray. Wait, how is that possible?
Look at Bob.
What am I doing?
Bob like this. on a stage spotlight.
Giving Tracy Chapman or like, you know.
I just have one of those faces. Alaska, shut the fuck up.
I love you both so much.
Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in, and make sure you go over to my Patreon to see all of the extra conflama. And again, if you're just joining us, go to the Patreon. You can see the whole show, and everyone else, we will see you next week. That's the show. Bye.
Bye. Bye.